She's dying? But how? I mean, she's immortal. She would be at least about... She's 1003?
It happens to every queen of ours. They have extended lifespans, but there comes a time when the power they've gained over their lifetime runs out. First, she loses her ability to reproduce, and then she eventually withers, and...
That's why we need an heir back. She promised your father that you would take the throne. Her Majesty only has a few days left, a week at most. We need someone to take her place.
But Mothy left you guys? Why would you want him as your king?
Because he's the only royal metamorph there is.
Well, aside from...
Shush!
What?
Lieutenant Bombus meant to say, aside from our queen.
But... Oh, right! Aside from our queen, you know, until she dies and...
They get it! The point is that, despite Prince Mothball's treachery, he is still heir to the throne, and must return to the hive.
Heir to the throne or not, Mothy is not going anywhere with you.
You don't understand the gravity of this situation, girl.
Gravity, schmavity, I defy gravity.
Screwy. He's right.
Excuse me?
Just let him explain.
Thank you, Your Highness. We must always have a royal in charge. They are the only ones that are allowed to reproduce. The heir must keep the line going. If not, then our species will eventually become extinct.
Hey, nice ring. So, you two engaged now?
Yeah.
Good, so we already have a queen already.
What? Mothy, what is he talking about?
Well, you see, while male metamorphs are fertile, they can't give birth, obviously.
Then what exactly were you planning to do once you took the throne?
My father told me I would have to find a queen.
Wait, me? Queen of the insects? My dad will kill me after he kills you.
There's one more little thing you should know. See, a creature like these also have to be able to reproduce, asexually. And they have to be able to give birth to a whole colony. And the only way for them to do that is, you have to be turned into one of them.
What?
Why couldn't you guys have told her?
Me? How would you even do that?
It's a very delicate procedure, and is only done under the direst of circumstances. It can only be used on an animal, however, since they are the closest to our species. You'll still keep certain features, like Bombus.
If that's true, then why are you wasting time with us when you could just turn some random person into the queen or something?
Because the spell can only be done by a royal.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Don't you think we'd have a lot more royals if any old metamorph could make one?
And Her Majesty is too weak to cast it.
It's been 5 years since Mothball has been with us. If Crystal needed a hair so bad, why didn't she try to do something like that before?
That is none of your concern. Look, we don't have time to argue whether the prince accepts it. The queen demands his presence. If you don't wish to part with your fiancé, Miss Screwball, you are welcome to be our next queen. If not, then I suggest you leave.
Where he's going, I'm going. Besides, I'd like a talk with Crystal.
So be it then. Follow us.
Screwy, you don't know what you're getting into. The metamorphs, they...
It's not like we haven't handled anything like this before. We'll have this sorted out even if I have to find a colony of metamorphs.
Hey, would you really hate being queen of metamorphs?
Well, black isn't exactly my colour.
Even if you'd be my queen?
Oh, Mothy, I didn't mean it like that.
No, I get it. I wouldn't want that for you either. After all, I never really wanted to become king. Besides, I like you just the way you are.
How are you feeling, by the way, about Queen Crystal? She practically raised you. Well, at least, sort of.
I don't know. I mean, she wasn't the best.
I get that. I'd be upset if one of my family... I mean, you saw what happened when, well, you already know. You know, we haven't been to the kingdom in ages. Dad told me it's like a dark castle with surprises behind every door. Talk about chaotic.
You're thinking of our old temporary home, which was shortly after our defeat. Yet again, we had to move base back to our old hive. which we still occupy today.
Oh, good. I was worried we were going to be flying for hours, because that's super far away.
Actually, we're almost here.
Gee, a graveyard is more livelier than this.
Now you know why we usually hunt outside our land.
Holy moly, that hive is huge.
What'd you expect from a colony made up of 20,000 metamorphs?
Geez, that queen has been busy.
Your Highness?
At ease, boys. She's with us. Unfortunately.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Yes, sir.
Do you think they remember me?
Probably.
Wait here.
You ready?
Yeah. My queen, Prince Mothball.
My son. My, how you've grown.
Krista. Your Majesty, what happened to you?
My time, I guess.
Nice to see you too, Your Majesty.
So you two are still together? Oh, and I see you've taken your relationship a step further. Well, it will certainly be interesting to see a metamorph queen with chaotic powers. Shame I won't live to see that.
Listen, you, I wouldn't be the queen of your disgusting race even if...
Screwy. We need to talk.
You're not actually gonna stand for this, are you?
They resent you enough already. No use making it worse.
But...
Hey, I've had to put up with your family. Now you have to put up with mine. Just let me do the talking. I don't want to be king, Your Majesty.
I didn't think you would. You were always weak-minded. Pity. You were such a talented young metamorph. Why, you were turning into adult animals by your 14th year. Unfortunately, I was unable to produce a new heir. It would be best if you accept the throne, son. You wouldn't want to bring an entire species to extinction, would you?
Don't try to guilt-trip me. I'm aware of what's at stake.
My. You've certainly gotten more assertive. You sure you don't want the throne? I'll even give you my blessing to marry the princess and spawn of chaos.
I'm not changing anything about Screwy just so we can get married.
Well, the options are that you turn her into a metamorph and marry her, or marry somebody else. Either way, you'll have to be king.
Is she serious? Is there really no other way around this?
I'm afraid so. After all, I'm their only heir left.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
What?
My queen, are you sure?
Desperate times call for desperate measures, General. I'm afraid I've kept a little secret from you, my son. You see, you're not the only heir I have. Before you arrived, I had another heir.
What? Why haven't I heard of this?
I forbade anyone to speak of her, as I had done for you when you betrayed us.
Her?
Your half-sister, Princess Bellatrix. Yes, Bellatrix. Now that girl had spunk, something every queen should have. She would always go on and on about what she would do when she was queen, and would practice her magic whenever possible. Unfortunately, she didn't have the power you had, my son. When you were 12, you could turn into a fly. When she was 12, she could even turn into a rabbit. She couldn't even control minds like you.
You have mind control powers?
It's not like I ever use it.
Exactly. That was always the problem with you, Mothball. You have so much power, yet refuse to use it. It was the opposite with Bellatrix. She would show off her power all the time. Not that there was much to show off. She also wasn't very clever, and would have a hard time getting food because she couldn't make people love her enough. Couldn't blame them. There wasn't much to love. I suppose she got that quality from your father.
So what happened to the princess not lovable?
When she was 18, she had made little improvement. So I decided to give her a challenge. I thought some time outside the hive would build up her strength. So I banished her for 5 years. But she came back later. You had just been born, actually. Frankly, your sister became jealous of you. Unfortunately, her time in the outside world had apparently made her weaker. She wouldn't stop talking about love and how there are much more important things than power. So, she left again, this time on her own accord. Since I had you to replace her, I thought nothing of it then.
Well, aren't you Mother of the Year?
But that was before I was born, right? Why didn't she come back?
Oh, she came back again. To ask a favor.
So where's this Bellatrix now?
Don't know. I haven't seen or heard from her in 10 years. She could be dead for all I know.
But I was a young kid then. I would have seen her.
Oh, you would have. But you were otherwise occupied.
What are the odds?
That was the last time I saw her. She could be anywhere now, using a different name, a different body.
So, say this Princess Bellatrix is still out there, do you think she'd be up for taking the throne instead of Mothy?
My last meeting wasn't very pleasant, but she'd certainly want the throne more than you, son. I still think she'd make a poor ruler, but at least she's not as much a goody-goody as you. However, even if she is alive, you'd have a hard time finding her, even with your well scent.
She's right. Finding a disguised royal metamorph in a corner would take forever.
But if we do find her, and she does agree to take the throne, then Mothball is off the hook, right?
Whatever. My abominations need a ruler, no matter who it is. Of course, you'll have to find her quickly.
Why?
Because I'm dying, you imbecile! I have to give the royal blessing. The title is not official until I do.
Take it easy, my queen.
Great, so we just have to find this Bellatrix demand and she takes the throne and we can get married with no strings attached.
Oh, maybe you could check her room for clues.
Bombus.
No, General. He's right.
But, my queen, you forbade.
I know what I forbade, but I'm at death's door, General. Show them to Bellatrix's room.
Lieutenant, escort the prince and the Prince of Chaos to Princess Bellatrix's chamber.
They remind me so much.
Remind you of what, your majesty?
So much. So much.
You should rest, my queen. You've been through a lot.
Fluffball.